Hi, I'm John Maxwell. When the top companies in the world are looking for trainers, speakers, and coaches, there's one name that stands above the rest, and that's Maxwell Leadership. Our certified team members have gotten proven results for companies all over the globe, and our reputation, I'm proud to say, is second to none. Some of our members have risen to the top of their profession, including the one you're going to meet today. I proudly introduce you to my friend Bob Fabian Zinka.
Welcome to the Leadership and Success Podcast with your host, Coach BZ, where we help you lead with purpose and succeed with impact. If you're ready to grow into the kind of leader others want to follow, this podcast is for you. If you're determined to elevate your success and leave a lasting legacy, this podcast is for you. As my mentor, Dr. John C. Maxwell reminds us, everything rises and falls on leadership. Our goal is simple: to inspire you, challenge you, and equip you with insights that can transform the trajectory of your leadership journey. Welcome aboard to another episode of the Leadership and Success Podcast with Coach BZ.
How are you self-managing yourself and how you respond? Because how you respond lets you know that, hey, you're not using your executive brain to make decisions and to respond to challenging situations. Because in the military, there were some challenging situations, high stress environment, deploy environment where you're getting bombed and mortars and all the things that are coming down, but you still have to react without reacting crazy, okay? Reacting on the control.
Oh, wow, that was a word of wisdom from the Senior Master Sergeant, U.S. Air Force, retired. As you guys know, I joined the Navy 21 years ago as an E1 seaman recruit. Today, I am a commander, but throughout my entire career, I have been mentored by Navy chiefs E7, E8, and E9. So I have great respect for the anchor, because in the Navy, they truly run the Navy. We couldn't do anything without them. So it's a great honor today to have somebody I do consider a mentor, because they really make a big difference in the military, especially for the enlisted and the junior officers as well. Okay, before I introduce my guest, let's make sure I see Daniel is already there, an active member of our community, joining from Florida. Thank you so much for being here. So let us know where you are joining from, what city, what state, outside of the US, which country. Let us know what you are grateful for. And then if you have a question for my guest, please type it in the comment, and we will try to answer those questions live. Okay. For a moment of gratitude, for those following me this Black History Month, which is February, Black History Month in the US, I am just grateful for the accomplishment of African American in this country. I love this book, African American First. It talks about famous, little known, and unsung triumphs of Blacks in America. I believe Blacks have built this country, and African American history is American history, no matter what anybody tells you. So I just want to acknowledge that and celebrate that every single day this month. Okay, let me see if I can properly introduce our guest today. Today is going to be quite a podcast. We are going to be speaking to a retired Air Force veteran, business development consultant, and leadership strategist. After more than 2 decades of leading people and managing operation in high-pressure environment, she created Women Brave to help women slow down, reconnect, and move forward, grounded, whole, and ready. And hopefully everybody is going to have a chance to purchase her best-selling book, Women Brave, but she also has an accompanying workbook. So we're going to be talking about that. So I'm going to say just one more thing before I bring her on. This is really going to be a great show, right? We are going to be talking. No, this is not going to be like just another motivational podcast or anything like that. But it's really going to prepare you, right, to get ready. I think it's going to help you in life as well. So, without any further ado, let me bring to the Leadership and Success Podcast the one and only Senior Master Sergeant Shevvy Maxwell.
Hi.
All right. How
Hello,
are you doing
hello.
today? It's
I'm
such a great
feeling
honor
good.
to have you. Just to get started, Senior Master Sergeant, what is one thing you are grateful for today?
I'm grateful for the opportunity to wake up. That is actually one of my good friends and
Yes.
I, we talked about being grateful. And I was telling her just this morning, like every day, the first thing as I open my eyes, I'm like, Lord, thank you for waking me up this day. And I tell my
Yes.
kids, my son,
Yes.
he's a teenager, so he's looking like, oh, here we go.
Yes.
And I
Yes.
tell them all the time, no matter what's happening, you have to be grateful for the little things, your clothes, your
Mm.
being, brushing your whatever it is. Just be
Yes.
grateful
Yes.
because it definitely affects the mind.
Yeah, and you being an Air Force veteran, you definitely understand that now. As you know, about 21, 22 service member commit suicide every single day in this country. Being in the military is not easy, but definitely having an attitude of gratefulness, I think, makes a big, big, big difference. Thanks again for being here. What is maybe something about you that most people may not know when they first meet you?
They may not know that I was born in South America and I am one of
Really?
9. Yes.
Wow. Which country in South America, if you don't mind sharing?
Guyana.
Wow, that is amazing.
Yes.
Cool. All right,
Yes.
so you are a true American. Fantastic.
Yes.
So, wow. It's let me maybe start with just a kind of like leadership foundation. How
Mhm.
did you end up joining the Air Force? And most importantly, how did you end up becoming a senior master sergeant in the United States Air Force? That is a big, big deal. Because when I joined the Navy 21 years ago as an E1, my goal was to either become an E7, a chief, or a senior officer commander. So it just happened I had a path to make it to commander. But how did you find your way in the Air Force?
Well, first of all, thank you, Coach BZ, for having me here, and I'm excited to just kind of just have a conversation with you. And honestly, when it comes to joining the Air Force, it was nothing that was like at the front of my mind to say while I was in high school, let me go ahead and join the military.
Yeah.
But my best friend at the time, during our junior year in high school, she said to me, Shevon, we should join the military together. And I'm like, girl, no. And I
Uh,
was like, the military, I was like, I don't know. So she's like, can you please, we can probably do the buddy system. Can you talk to
yeah.
talk to the recruiter? So she introduced me to her recruiter. And this was our junior year in high school. And for me, I always envisioned just going to college, never the military. And she
Yes.
said, so I met that individual and he did like a pre-test. Staff Sergeant Lennon, I remember his name. That was my recruiter. And he's like, okay, you did well on the pre-test. And I was like, okay, that's nice. You're, 16 years of age. You're like, okay. And I said, well, no, thank you. you know,
Uh,
and then I graduated high school. And then I had a scholarship to go to William Patterson University.
mhm.
And when you're young at this time, I'm 19, but I had to complete this program in order to fulfill the scholarship requirements. Well,
Yes.
we're young and we silly and we make silly decisions, and I did not complete the program, which detour where my life. And I, ended up in community college because I'm big on education. And then one day I was sitting on my parents' porch in New Jersey. And I said to myself, like, I wanted something different for me because I was tired of seeing the same thing and being in Newark, New Jersey, at
Mhm.
that time, high crime rate, a lot of challenges. And I called up that same recruiter.
Oh, by the way, somebody from New Jersey is ready. I think you know her.
Yes,
Samantha.
Samantha.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so I called that same recruiter, Staff Sergeant Lennon, and I said, "Hey, I would like to take the test to join the Air Force." He was like, "Okay, how soon are you looking to join?" How soon are you looking to take the test? And I was like, as soon as possible. And that Wednesday, he's like, "Okay, you can take it next Wednesday." I said, "Okay." So he picked me up from my house. I went there. I took the test. He's like, "Okay, Shevon, so what are you doing now?" I was like, "I guess I'm joining the Air Force."
Wow,
Just like
that's amazing.
that. And I called my best friend at the time and I was like, hey, guess what? I'm going to the military. She was like, you're right. I was like, no, I'm serious. And she couldn't believe it. Her mom couldn't believe it because
Yes.
again, that was never a vision. And the thing that she said to me was like, Shevon, you're not going to make it because one, you don't like people telling you what to do. And I was like, I don't, but in that environment, I will, I will
Yes.
adjust.
Yes.
And that's how I ended up joining the military in 2001.
Yes. Wow.
September.
And before long, you were an E4, E5, E6, E7, E8, and you were the one giving the orders. So congratulations. That's it.
Thank you. Thank you.
So you've served more than what, 22 years, I believe, in the
Yes, 22 years, and almost an additional 22 years, and I think like 23 months. So yes,
and
you got
how many additional days?
I know, and
That's
hours and
beautiful.
time
Yes.
and minutes.
Yes. No, I know. But once you reach 20 years in the military, I mean, there is nothing that feels as good because then you don't
Yes.
have to worry about all of the nonsense that some uh, branches of the military want to bring upon you. You can just retire, right? You just give your papers, I'm out. Thank you very much. But if you only
Yes.
have
You're
12
like, what's
years,
going on today?
yeah. And so few people do. Very, very, very few. I've been in 21 years now. So I may be a commander in
Nice.
the Navy, but
Congratulations.
thank you. But my wife is the armed commander and she's ordered me to retire soon. So I'm going to have to obey her orders.
Yeah.
So 22 years in the Air Force, that's really huge, huge achievement. What leadership lesson did the military burn into your DNA that still shapes how you lead today?
Wow. As I look back on my 22 years of service through all the challenges, I would say the leadership lesson is to continue to show up
Mm,
when life is happening, when the challenges, when you feel like,
yes.
screaming and yelling and crying, like still continue to show up, because that's being a person, but a great individual in general, whether you're a leader, whether you're a mom, whether you're a dad, it's still continuing to show up no matter what is
Yes.
happening.
And by the way, you are making some members of the audience cry of laughter right now. So thank you so much. I really love watching the monitoring the chat, because when I first started 5 years ago, it was just me, myself, and I. Nobody was listening. It was just me. But now it's a global audience, people all around the world, and they listen, and sometimes they talk to me. So I want to make sure
No, I
I
love it. I love
comment.
it.
So that's
Please
good.
bring the
So,
chat in. Yes.
uh, what do you think really makes the difference between leaders who are just okay and those who are transformational, in your opinion?
Wow, great question. Yesterday, I was having a conversation with someone, and they were sharing with me how this individual was in a high leadership position,
Mhm.
and the person was emotional because their team that they were leading was complaining, putting in, reports into HR saying this person's doing X, Y,
Yes.
and Z. And automatically, I said to the person I was having the conversation with, like, this person is not leading from a people perspective. They were
Mm,
leading based on the position and based on the title, because I feel that
yes.
between great leaders and ineffective leaders, because you have leaders who are leading because they have the title and they are in that higher position, but when it
Yes.
comes to the people aspect, they're not truly leading. And then that is the challenge with leaders who are just
Mm,
going because making decisions and telling people what to do because they hold the title.
yes.
And for me,
Wow.
it's about the person. If you focus on people, like
Yes.
truly focus on people. Yes, they're going to be challenges. Yes, they're going to have individuals on your team who don't, like certain things, but you
Hmm.
have to with a people with people at the forefront, because leading
Yes.
with just a position and title, you're not going to get far. You're not.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that, because in the Navy we say mission first, people always. I'm sure we stole that from the Army, but it is so true, though, because it makes all the difference in the world when people know that as their leader, you really care about them as an individual, not just a member of a team to be doing work that you need to get done. What do you think is one mistake that young officers or even non-commissioned officer repeatedly make when stepping into a leadership role?
So from 22 years, I've experienced this myself firsthand. And I had
Mhm.
a captain, again, a captain, for the Air Force is a
All
new
three?
person still, is
Mhm.
an O3, they're still learning the ropes. They're still,
Yeah.
really learning about how, identifying how they truly lead. When you have
Yes.
someone who's been in 20 years like myself or like yourself, and then you have this, baby captain
Yeah.
who you respect because of the position, but they
Yes.
come in with a sense of like, because I'm again going back to the title and the position, I'm
Mhm.
the leader, you need to do X, Y, and Z. And this one captain kept
Mm. What a
telling
mistake. What a mistake. They don't
what
understand that they need to be mentored by the E7, E8, and E9.
yes,
Continue,
some
please.
do. I would say some do, but this one did not. And I kept telling this individual captain, ma'am, we can't do this because of X, Y, and Z. And that
Yes.
person kept pushing and pushing. And I'm like, again, we can do this, but it doesn't make sense. And it was a waste of time, waste of resource, because at the end, guess what? We couldn't do what they wanted to do because of the
Yes.
regulations and the policy. So I think
Mhm.
for whether you're an NCO stepping into that leadership role for the first time, or that, lieutenant, or that captain, and you're like, find that person within your organization to say, okay, who is going to guide me? Who's going to mentor me? Who's going to allow me to
Yes.
still lead, but still pull me in when I need some course correction and some feedback that are constructive, and not take it as offensive, because our goal as senior leaders is to help the people that we are overseeing, and
Yes.
also who are over us, to
Mhm.
lead better, lead the organization better. So I would say definitely
Sure.
coming in as if they know it all when they don't.
Wow. That is very, very good advice, especially if you just like, no, I guess second lieutenant, first lieutenant in the Air Force, and ensign or JG in the Navy. You have so much to learn. Let's talk about your best selling book, When Men Breathe. I believe men can read this book too and learn, right? Because I read some extract from the book, and I think it is just great, and I think it is timely, especially in a culture like the military where everything is always high tempo and people tend to overwork. So in high pressure environment, we often glorify resilience, right? But you do talk in this book about sustainability. What's the difference, and why is sustainability important?
Yes, great question. And the book is not a bestseller yet, but thanks to you, it will be.
Well, yes, I speak it into existence. Yes.
Yes, and I love that. I would say, because based on what the reason I wrote the book, and I talk about resilience in here, but mainly on the sustainability aspect, because like you said, there's a lot of challenges that we encounter as military individuals, from leadership challenges, family challenges, physical challenges, mental
Yes.
challenges, a lot of different things. So resilience is all about, okay, how do we move forward? And with the military, it's like, okay, we have to get back to the mission, which is the end goal. And the resilient aspect is like, okay, we're going through these challenges. Okay, I was able to bounce back. But for me, and I've gone through some challenges, from anxiety, the vertigo, hospitalization while serving active duty. It was like, okay, after I've gone through this and I'm resilient because I'm still here, how do I sustain these new habits so that I don't go back to that consistently? Because again, if you stay in that resilient cycle, it's like you're just going in that loop. Okay, we're here, and now, okay, I'm good. Now I'm back here. But for the sustainability aspect, it's like, okay, now we have things that we have put in place to keep our mental, keep our physical, our emotional intact, but still navigate the challenges without losing myself or yourself while we're navigating those things.
Very good. So in the same book, you challenge high performers to slow down. Why is slowing down strategic, not soft, especially for those who are in the military?
Yes. And one part of the question, and then men can read this book. They can buy it for their spouse. It doesn't have to be just for anyone in the military, whether you are you have your own business, whether you have your own, you're a leader in the organization, you're stepping into leadership role as a first time person. Maybe you're a mom and you're like, I have these 2 kids, these 5 kids. I'm doing all the things. Guess what? This book is not about just slowing down. Honestly, it's really about really reclaiming who you are as you're navigating these challenges. Because as ambitious individuals, we're going to go. We're going to execute. We're going to make things happen, and we're going to continue, even while we're burning out. And we see the signs, but we don't really own the signs. We just kind of ignore them. Like, okay, I feel a little headache here. Let me continue. But I think it's not slowing down. It's reclaiming to self and creating that sustainable habit that you can implement, I can implement, whoever's reading this book can implement, and know that these challenges will come. These, life will happen to me. My marriages will end. My team will not like me. I may be thinking I'm a failure as a leader, as a mom, but how do I sustain myself continuously beyond this space that I'm in right now?
Yes. Wow, we have more. Samantha says amazing book, but I think she's biased. But definitely, everyone please get a copy. And Daniel says Bob Chevy's point on ineffective leadership being a title only game is the cornerstone of honor mode. We are shifting the focus back to the people. Yeah, focusing
Love
on the
that.
people, that is so important. So back to your soon to be a number one best-selling book on Amazon. I think that is definitely going to happen. So for the leaders who are maybe doing too much, but they still show up for everyone else, and sometimes they feel like no, they are just being pulled in 1,000 directions. What is the first internal shift they must take?
The first internal shift for a leader who feels like they have to show up for every single one every time, and that's in work, that's in life, that's in their
Yes.
community, they have to go inward and ask themselves,
Mm,
why do I feel like I have to be that person? Even though when I'm tired, even though when I don't have the mental capacity to show up, why do I feel so?
yes.
They have to go inward and really be reflective to understand what is causing them. Past experiences could potentially be that reason, but really go
Hmm.
deep to identify, why am I still showing up when I don't have the energy or the capacity?
Mm. So how do we know then when we are operating from strength or from depletion?
Great question. I think this is a perfect example of us right now in action. You with
Yeah.
your podcast, me showing up here, sharing what I love, which is, in the sense of not just talking, but
Hmm.
living and doing the things that I am passionate about, whether it's supporting women,
Yes.
impacting organization. And that's how you look at the strength, things that really brings you joy, things that you like, man, I can do this all day long. I can, sit on this podcast all
Yes.
day long, and you can just continue to interview people. So you have to look at what fuels you. And for me, that is your strength. That is part of it. And when you
Hmm.
look at something that's depleting you, your question like, okay, why am I here today? Do I want to, as soon as that alarm goes off, your question like, oh, I'm not ready for this team. I'm not ready to, like, you start self-talking, and it's not a healthy type of talk. It's more like, oh, it's draining. So
Yes.
you can automatically feel the shift in energy in the when you're operating in strength and when you're operating in depletion, because, and also your mental capacity, there's
Hmm.
fog, there's tightness, there's a lot, because I've been there.
Yes.
I've been there as an instructor for the military, and when I was going through my own journey and my own challenges,
Yes.
I am, I'm a people person, but during that challenge, I was just showing up just to do the work. I was not
Hmm.
going above, and you can tell because my performance dropped,
Yes.
my ratings dropped, because, and I accepted that. But then
Wow.
as I started navigating those, oh, let me get back into my strength. Let me focus back on self. So you can tell it's going to
Wow.
bring you joy. It's going to bring you energy. And when you're depleted,
Yes.
you just move in.
Now, like you said, so it says women breathe, but I think men should buy it too, and buy it for your girlfriend, your wife, your sister, your mother, your daughters. But it says leading through life, career, and business while thriving in every season. So not just the military, but really throughout your entire life. And then when people go to womenbreathe.com, they can order not just the book, but the workbook as well. And you said in the green room, you're going to be willing to sign the book for those who ask you to.
Yes,
That
yes.
is
Every book that
fantastic.
is ordered through my website, it is signed
Yes.
by me. Yes.
Fantastic. So one man brave. So we remember that. So one more question I want to ask about the book then is, what do you do then to recharge yourself? How do you find that sense of peace and rest before you can go back out there and no, work at a high level again? What do you
Yeah.
advise?
Yes. So my advice, and this is something that I do, and this is something that is in the book, Woman Breed, and this is a section of sustainability, which is part of my framework. And
Hmm.
for me, is movement. And when I say movement, I don't care in whatever capacity that you want to move. Movement is going to help you to reset. For me,
Hmm.
I have proven this for myself, for other clients I've served when I was really focused on wellness. When I, even on active duty, when I was first diagnosed with anxiety and being hospitalized, and I felt like I was losing like my identity, like I felt like with the thoughts and parenting to two young kids under 5, and
Yes.
and was a wife at the time, I started running consistently. And for me, that helped me want to shut my mind, my thoughts from going left to kind of
Hmm.
keep center. I'm just being real here. And,
Yes.
because for me, running resets me. It is my fuel when I am stressed, when I'm overwhelmed with parenting as a mom. I go out for a run, even while I was on active duty. If I felt just the load of the work, even on deployments, I will be up at 5 in the morning. And my friend, I'm like, "Hey, Sergeant Prince," I
Mm,
was like, "You running?" And he was like,
yes.
"Okay, okay, Mac." So
Yes.
definitely as a leader, you have to find what is the thing that you truly enjoy, that that you can make the time for that, even if it's 5 minutes.
Mm,
It's swimming, that could be biking, and that is part of the your sustainability. Like
yes.
honestly. Mhm.
Wow. Now, another thing you do now with federal agency, you work with the Federal Innovation and the SBIR pathway. So you actually help founders, right, access SBIR and STTR federal growth opportunities, which I think
Yeah.
is so important, especially for women and minority, especially right now, because a lot of women, if you don't know, especially Black women, have been fired from the federal government as of last year.
Yes.
They're looking for help. So why do so many small businesses? I think a small business may be one way to really be able to help fund and support your family. But why do so many small businesses miss out on federal funding?
One, because of the overwhelm of the process, I will believe, because
Mm,
when I started this journey of like, hey, I want to learn about the federal opportunity, it's a lot of information out
yeah.
there. And some of the information is okay, and some is very deep, but some is it's all over the place. And I think people not knowing where to start, because there's
Mm,
so much on YouTube. There's so many individuals who are sharing different things. And for someone who don't have someone intentionally saying, "Hey, Coach
yes.
BZ, here's what you need to focus on. Let me hear your challenges. Let me hear what you're looking to do, and now helping you to create that path." And especially as a
Yes.
military person who has, you know, did 20 plus years and decided to launch a business, and whether that's a tech business, we don't have a clue sometimes, including myself in the
Mm,
beginning. And
yes.
finding getting the clarity and the guidance will help more people move forward. But a lot of small businesses, one, it's overwhelming, and two, they're not even fully aware of what even cyber is. Because
Yes.
just in 2024, I never heard of cyber until it was brought to my attention by another Black woman who has
Mm,
helped other companies in that space. And I was like, what is this thing? And
yes.
she told me about it, and I started doing my research. And just like you said, a lot of minorities are not
Yes.
aware, because I started having conversation with business owners who looked like me, and they said, "What is
Hmm.
this?" And I'm like,
Yes.
"Okay, this is a need," and that's how I got into serving clients
Wow.
into that space, because this is free. If you win, because it's nothing guaranteed in the federal
Hmm.
space. But this is an opportunity for founders, and you don't have to be in the tech space for that. You can have an
Yes.
app, something in education. You can do for food, USDA, and
Mm,
you can have an innovation or something that you feel that can solve a big problem for the United States and
yes.
apply. But again, is doing it the right way, because one thing I've learned while learning and going deep about what is CIBR, what is SITR, which is a
Hmm.
small business innovation research and a small business technology transfer. These are just two different pathways that a founder can utilize to bring their innovation to the market, and they can partner with a
Wow.
university going through the SITR process. But what I
Hmm.
learned from having conversations with managers from program managers from NASA or Department of Energy, they were telling me, this was end of 2024, they want to see more diverse people. And they said
Yes.
the challenge that they were seeing was like the packages that were coming through was not of
Mm,
quality. And that's what I
yes.
wanted to fix, to make sure that the individuals who are looking to submitted merit worthy proposal. So I know that
Yes.
was long.
No, but this is very, very important. So again, I believe it's through the Small Business Administration, SIBR, like you say, Small Business Innovation Research, and then
Yes.
STTR, Small Business Technology Transfer. But like you say, it doesn't have to be specifically technology, as long as you are helping the US and doing something that is going to help people.
Yes.
So you as a consultant, you can help people kind of go through the process. How can they reach out to you to seek your help, and you can maybe be a
Yes.
consultant for them.
Yes, no, definitely. I provide support in 3 areas when it comes to my consulting side of my business, which is J3M, and that is supporting tech founders who are looking, or non-tech founders who are looking to understand what cyber is through training and development, but also if they're looking for advisory support to say, hey, I don't know where to start, but I have this idea, helping them to navigate how to identify the different agency. And if they're like, hey, Shevvy, I know the agency, but I need help with putting it all together so that my package can go through that door. So those are the 3 pathways that I can support them. And they can just send me a DM right here on LinkedIn, or they can email me at info at j3mconsulting.com.
Yeah, and I believe that's your
Or go to the
website,
website
right?
and
Okay, fantastic.
yes.
No,
yes.
I think many times people they just are not aware. They don't know, and that is why they are not able to get the information they need so they can be successful. And just to make sure, yeah, this is it. I thought I saw your picture here too, just to make sure this is your site. Maybe
It might
I
be,
do that. But
yes, it
definitely
might
it's
be, it should be there.
J3M Consulting.com. All right. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for sharing that, because I think it's very, very important, especially in the time we are living in
Yes.
right now. So I guess another question I wanted to ask them, it looks like when you talk about leadership, you also bring in neuroscience, right? You integrate neuroscience into leadership. What does brand-based leadership actually look like in practice? Why do you think that's important when we talk about leadership?
Coach BZ, first of all, great question. And the reason I want to kind of just share the why behind I got into the brain science.
Hmm.
As I shared earlier, while on active duty, again, when you're able to really manage your mind, you can overcome anything, truly. And during
True.
my challenges, I was, working, seeing a counselor, all the different things, running,
Mm.
exercising, eating better. But I wanted to understand what was going on up here. So I learned about Shante Javon Taylor. She's a Black African American woman who launched her company, the Optimine Institute, and she teaches business owners who are looking to learn about incorporating neuroscience into what they do, whether it's coaching, wellness, and different
Wow.
things. And I said, I want to learn this, so I got certified. Investment, again, things that brings you joy, and you're ready to share with with other people, and
Hmm.
just going through her program and learn about how the brain operates, when it comes to decision making, when it comes to stress, when it comes to
Yes.
your emotional regulations, your amygdala in the back of your brain, and how your fear brain is 5 times stronger than your
Hmm.
your positive side of the brain. So it's just like, and how the hippocampus, when exercise, and how that impacts your memory. So it's just
Yes.
like, for me, understanding how we can optimize our brain by
Mm.
understanding how it works, understanding how we process information, understanding how we can regulate our emotions.
Yes.
Because, and even when I went through that program, my daughter was 16 at the time, and this is in action, leadership, neuroscience, brain leadership in action. And again, it's not just for leadership, your parenting,
Mm.
your business, all the things. And my daughter just got her
Yes.
driver's license, and she had a curfew to be at home by 11 o'clock. And I called her. She's like, I'm on my way. And it was close to time. And I knew she wasn't going to make it,
Hmm.
and she came late. And then, she's like, Mommy, I'm so sorry. And then she got a speeding ticket because she's trying to make it home. And usually I would respond like, what? You got a ticket? Because
Yeah.
I attended that and completed the certification, I was able to respond so differently,
Mm.
because I learned when it comes to teenage brains, how it is still being developed and different things, how the decision making
Yes.
is not going to make sense to them, but to us. So neuroscience, and bringing that into the leadership aspect, for me, it is golden. It is a must for anyone who is looking to lead at the most optimal level, because it helps
Yes.
you as a leader to self-regulate, self-understand, so you can lead better in
Wow.
life, in business, and career. So
Thank you so much for sharing, because this really could be life changing. I know here in Silicon Valley where I live, IQ is pretty much of the child. But EQ, we have a lot of work to do. So, what is something people listening right now can do to improve their self-awareness, their emotional intelligence, so they can regulate their emotional more, so they don't just react to what's happening to them, but they can actually think and respond appropriately to whatever might be happening in life? What do you
Yes.
recommend?
You know what? I have a presentation workshop that I do. It's called The Power of Self-Leadership, How to Lead Yourself Well to Lead Others. And I delivered this workshop to a nonprofit organization last month. And the focus is self-leadership. For anyone who's looking to be a better person, a better leader, you have to start with self. My book, the first chapter is on self-leadership.
Yes.
So for me, I will tell anyone as they're navigating life, career, business, whatever challenges or questioning things, start with how can you lead yourself better? Because that is going to help you to increase your emotional quotient, your EQ,
Yes.
but also regulate how you respond to challenges, regulate how you respond to stress, regulate how you respond, in your home life. Like truly, the power of self-leadership, you have to tap into that. And I know people saying you don't have time. I have a team of 200. You got to make time. I don't care if it's 5 minutes. I don't care if it's 1 minute. You have to make time to tap into self.
Wow. Okay. Into the last segment of the show, that's where I try to get into your brain to see the leadership principle that have helped you be so successful. Why do you think you've been so successful in the most powerful Air Force in the world, coming in as an E1, and I think I have a picture right there, and then retiring as an E8? What a great achievement that is. And then beyond that, now you are a consultant, you're doing your own business with J3M, like we talked about. You are becoming a best-selling author, and all of those things that you are doing. What's the secret of your success?
I would say the secret for my success, as I still continue to grow from, my military career, retiring after 22 plus years, I would say it's my belief system. Like truly, like being, born in South America, Guyana, coming from, living in a 1-bedroom house with, 8 siblings, not, plus my mom and dad. And even though we didn't have much, the belief like I can do so much more.
Yes.
Again, going back to self. So no matter what happened, whether it was divorce, whether it was, leadership, pressing me, or, because you do have those leaders who are intentionally trying to get you to react.
Yes.
For me is the belief that, this is happening. I can get through this. Even in my business, because I'm with my businesses, because I have a leadership side of my business, Mac Leadership Academy. And people looking in, and even siblings, or family say, you invested so much, but the growth has not fully. But I'm like, my vision, and I believe, guess what? It's coming. It is coming.
Powerful.
So the belief system is for me. It's my belief system.
Wow. So really your mindset, that's how two people can go through the same challenges, where one of them is going to thrive and somebody else just going to be destroyed.
Yes.
By it, the way you think. Wow, powerful. So what do you think is the greatest lesson you have ever learned, just in general, in life, in leadership?
For me, and when I think about this question, it's not the words of what people said, is how they showed up. And for me, 3 people come back to me. One was my Major Anderson. He was when I was stationed at Minot, and this major, and he was prior enlisted. So I think that made a big difference too.
I think it does too.
It really does. It really does for officers. He showed like he really cared about people, and even I worked readiness a lot in my military career, and he was overseeing readiness, and just how he showed up for us, how he showed in action, not just saying, hey, I need you to do X, Y, and Z, but he really was present with us. And I think about retire Shanice Johnson, again, action when I got here to Maxwell Air Force Base, and having to have surgery, and how she showed up, making sure my kids were good, coming every day. That's leadership for me.
Yes.
That's a leadership lesson. And for me, I am the same. I'm about showing up in action and doing what is needed, but also
Mm.
holding you accountable too. So
Yeah. Yes. Wow, that is quite powerful. So I know that leaders are learners. What are you learning these days?
for me, I am learning how to get better at doing what I do when it comes to supporting consulting in the sense of,
Mm.
writing, better proposal. And also what I'm learning is how to be more present with my kids and also
Yes.
take care of me, because as someone who is, turning 45 this year, I've put so much time and energy into my military career, into my
Mhm.
education, into my kids. So for me now, I'm learning how to just give myself the grace and the time
Yes.
needed to enjoy life more fully, like
Wow.
truly.
Powerful. Now, we've talked about all of your successes, but what about failure? How has failure shaped your life?
I would say failure, I would say detours. you know
Mm.
when it comes to whether it's because I would say my marriage ending, that wasn't a failure, that was just a decision that needed to be made.
Mhm.
The challenge that I've encountered while on active duty, whether it's like getting marked down on on my report,
Yeah.
not doing something, maybe the commander say, hey Sergeant Maxwell, this what, and I didn't deliver. So for me, they were all lessons that I learned from.
Yes.
Because I'm that person, yes, I'm going to feel the feel, but I'm going to process, but I'm going to say, okay, I don't sit in it for, I try not to sit in anything so long that I lose full control of
Mhm.
getting myself back up from that deep of like, oh my goodness, I messed up.
Yes.
So I don't look at failure as just, oh my goodness, I fail, I can't believe. Yes, I do question like, why did I do that?
Mm.
Why did I not do this? And then, I make shed a few tears, and then I'm like,
Yes.
okay, let's go, girl,
Yes.
get your ish
Yes.
together, you know,
Yes.
and
Yes.
yeah, so that's how I like to
Hmm.
approach it.
I guess it goes back to mindset again, learning
Yes,
from your failure and then keep moving
a
forward.
hundred
Wow.
percent, a
Powerful.
hundred.
All right. If you could choose three people to have dinner with, they could be alive, uh, they may have passed away, or even fictitious characters. Who would you choose and why?
Oh my goodness. I hope I don't cry through this. Um, the first one, my mom.
Hmm.
Woo,
Yeah.
because she passed away 2018, and I would
Hmm.
love to have dinner with her, to have a conversation,
Sorry to hear that.
to laugh. Um, and she was, when I say very like, she'll make you laugh, but she was very structured,
Yes.
but definitely enjoyed life. We will have parties at our house, we will have lots of food. We were always, and we didn't have much, but my mom will be number one.
Yes.
Because one, she gave me life. Number two will be Maya Angelou,
Yeah.
Angelos, because I love her as a person, as a human being, and as when I was younger, her books, I would just, and I love reading, so I would spend days and just reading her books over and over, and I love just her as a person. And then the
Mm-hmm.
last person would be Oprah Winfrey, because of
Yes.
her vision and looking at where she came from, being, from Mississippi. And, I always hear her share about her grandmother saying, Oprah, you're going to be washing, these clothes on these, this
Yes.
scrubbing board. And I grew up in Guyana, scrubbing clothes on scrubbing board. So, her upbringing was very similar, even though it's in two different
Yeah.
countries, but definitely just what she has created because of her
Hmm.
belief, and knowing that she can do X, Y, and Z. And for me, my
Yes.
vision is big, and I see myself. I am Oprah in my own way. I will say that. Yes, because
Wow.
I have big dreams.
That is really, really powerful because the truth is, Oprah Winfrey, right, her mentor was Maya Angelou. And I really love Maya Angelou. And one of her best work is Still I Rise. I mean, that
Mhm.
poem, when I read it, it makes me cry every single time. It's just amazing. I guess she's passed away for quite a while now. But even
Yes.
though she's not here anymore, like Bible says, though he be dead, yet he speaketh. Because when you can read her work, or poem, and her books, she's still speaking to you. It's just
Yes.
amazing. Wow. Whew,
Yes.
okay, I'm not gonna cry. This is great. So we are almost out of time. Let me ask you: if you had one and only one day to live, what would you have liked your final contribution to be?
Wow. One day to live. For me, I will love to my Mac Leadership Academy to be the final contribution because that will be
Mm,
my school
yes.
where when I say school, this would be like a school for youth, like young kids who are looking to step into their own leadership roles, step into
Mm-hmm.
launching their own businesses. This will be the place where women and young girls can come to really develop themselves as leaders, to know that hey, whatever they want to achieve and build, they
Yes.
can make it happen. So yes, it will have to be my school.
Wow. The Mac Leadership Academy. This is your site. Your man, you really do a lot. Wow. That is really, really,
I
really
do
cool.
enough. I will
Love it.
say enough.
Yes. No, yeah,
Yeah,
okay. Here's your picture. So this is definitely yours. Wow, this is really, really
yeah.
cool. Yeah, I'm gonna make sure to add that one to the list of website for people to follow after this podcast, because I think it really makes a difference, especially when we talk about the next generation, the young people here. Samantha says taking care of self always uh, uh, allows you to fully show up in other areas of your life, and that is so
Yes.
true. Wow. Okay. When you wake up in the morning, let's say you had the magic wand and you could solve any problem at all. Which one problem would you like to solve first thing tomorrow morning?
Ooh, wow. This is a great question. What is the one problem that I would love to solve? I think I would like to solve people, like giving people the opportunity to release fear,
Mm,
like to not have fear, to know that what they want to do in life, whatever
yes.
that is, whether they want to like launch their school, they want, like forgo fear itself. It's not even a
Hmm.
part of it's not part of your vocabulary. It's not part of your thinking. And I
Yes.
think that will allow so many people who are thinking about something that they've been thinking about for years, sometimes maybe even decades, that
Mm,
they are afraid to do because of judgment, because of whoever is watching. So that will
yes.
be my one thing, to remove that completely, so more people can dream big, but also do the things that they're dreaming about.
Wow. All right. All good things do come to an end. So, how can we add value back to you?
Honestly, the way people can add value back to me is one, connect me to someone within your organization to come in and deliver the power of self leadership.
Hmm.
They can order bulk orders of my book along with the workbook to bring into their organization as well too. They can definitely add value by bringing me in to speak as one of their
Yes.
keynote speaker and trainer.
Wow. So again, we have the book and the workbook, and we can get that on your onemanbrave.com site. And
Yes,
we have the J3M Consulting. They can get you anything SBR. You're going to be able to help them with
yes.
that. There is a Mark Leadership Academy. They can reach out there too, and definitely follow you on LinkedIn. Wow, that is powerful. Anything else comes to mind? Oh, what about your podcast? You do have a podcast, right? Lead
Yes,
like
I
a
do.
CEO.
Yes, I have several things. I have my, lead like a CEO
Yeah.
podcast, and this one is what I started underneath Mac Leadership Academy, where I used to
Hmm.
share all things leadership, because that was focused on helping business owners who are navigating this space and hasn't really truly
Yes.
lead as a CEO by owning their leadership
Mm,
skills. And I do have my executive innovation show that I do every week on LinkedIn,
yes.
which is all consulting on federal and innovation. And then my
Very
YouTube
good.
channel, Lead and Live Well with Shevvy, which is all about showing up
Yeah.
and living
Oh, that's the
well.
wrong one. I think you have two YouTube channels. So this one.
Yes. Yes. So the first one was for the J3M Consulting, which is the innovation
Yes.
show. And then that one right there. And then I have my Lead and Live Well. This is just me just sharing all things
Man.
self leadership, lifestyle, and what, because for me, like the Air Force, we always focus on the whole person concept. That is your
Yes.
mental, your physical, your emotional. And these are things that I really enjoy. Like you mentioned about talking about strength. Guess what?
Hmm.
Self leadership is, something that I really, focus on.
Yes.
Lifestyle, whether it's, spending time with family, enjoying life, doing
Wow.
solo travels, and then wellness. That is the core, because again, without wellness, without managing my
Yes.
mind and pouring back into me, nothing else matters, because that means I
Wow.
can fully show up as a mom, as a business owner, as a
Yes.
consultant, as a friend. So, and it's not
Wow.
easy, of course. So please don't think, oh well, Chevy think it's easy. No, it takes work. But
Hmm.
for me, I'm building sustainability when it comes to my habit and the quality of life of
Wow.
that I want, and the things that I want to do to impact not only me and my kids, but also the people that I'm surrounded by and the people I'm serving.
Yes. That is really, really powerful. I wish we had more time. So let me first. Is there a question I should have asked you? I didn't get a chance to ask. Anything else you wanted to share?
No, that is it. Definitely just connect with me. Follow me on LinkedIn here,
Yeah.
and that's all. That's all I have. And thank you so much for having
All right.
me.
No, sorry, but no, I still have one very, very important
Yes.
question for you. I
Hmm.
think you were about 17, 18 years old here, right?
No, I was 19 when I
19.
joined the
Okay.
military.
Close,
Actually, no,
close,
I think I
close
might be
enough.
21, 20, because I
Okay.
turned 20 in basic training.
All right. That is close enough. The reason why I show this picture, I want to ask you, maybe this is the most important question of the show.
Mhm.
Looking back at your outstanding career and everything you've been able to accomplish, what would you say to 17-year-old Shevvy?
Oh wow. So what I would say to Chevy, and this age I'm at, I believe I'm 20 because I turned 20 in basic. So
Hmm.
I would say to me, like, girl, you have come a long way in the
Yes.
sense of your challenges, in the sense of, your relationships.
Mm,
And you could have forego some of those earlier, but
yes.
but honestly, I would, and part of that is, you're a very kind person, but also
Hmm.
know that your kindness is, maybe taken, advantage of because of just who you
Yes.
are as a person, and know that you have achieved so much as
Mm,
a woman, as a mom, as an educator, and you go after what you want. Though you were,
yes.
introverted, you've now, step more into extroverted,
Mm.
instead of more introverted. So I would say, great job, Shevon.
Wow. Thank you. To end, I always like to end on a positive note. What
Yes.
is something you are feeling optimistic about these days?
I am feeling optimistic about enrolling and signing up for my first full marathon.
Wow.
Yes.
Fantastic. Yeah, I've done one half marathon. I don't think I'm going to do it again, but congratulations. Good job. That's wonderful. Wow.
Yes. Yes. I'm looking
And
forward to it.
that is really, really, really great. I think people who do that are a little bit crazy, but it is a great achievement. So definitely
Yeah.
rooting for you, senior master sergeant. So to end the show, what is one word that represent our shared experience on this podcast today?
I will say joy.
Very good. And I'm just so grateful. No, I consider you one of my mentors. Like I said, my entire career, I've been mentored by E7, E8, and E9. You guys really run the military. Without you, we can do absolutely nothing. Unfortunately, as a commander, sometimes I take all of the credit and all of the glory, but I know you and the White Hat, the junior enlisted, really do all of the work. And I used to be junior enlisted, so I know exactly what I'm
Yeah.
talking about. So I'm just so very, very grateful for what you do, your service to your country, but what you continue to serve even after you've taken off the uniform. So thank you so much, Senior Master Sergeant Shevvy. I appreciate you being here on the Leadership and Success podcast, and thank you for being one of our master teachers today.
Yes, thank you so much for having me, Coach BZ, and thank you for your service as well. Too, and like you
Thank you.
said, your wife said it's time to retire. I'm with her.
Yes, yes, I think it is. It is time, especially in this environment we are living in right now. But
Yes,
thank you so much. All
thank
right.
you. Bye bye.
All right, everyone. This is one for the book, and thank you for everybody who was active on the comment. Again, follow Senior Master Chief. I have all of her website here. Again, on LinkedIn, she's a business development SMSgt consultant. So follow her on LinkedIn. Woman Brief, get the book and the workbook, Mac Leadership Academy, and also J3M Consulting. So thank you again for watching. And later today, in probably a couple of hours, I am going to go back. We are doing a study on the book of Proverbs. So we're going to do Proverb, I believe, 16 and 17. I'm going to be using artificial intelligence to do that. So it's not going to take very, very long and celebrate Black History Month. We are doing this every single day of the month of February. So if you can join us, that will be great. If not, I'm going to be back tomorrow again. We're going to do Proverb chapter 18. Okay, that's all I have for today. Have a wonderful rest of your day. And thanks again for watching the Leadership and Success Podcast. Bye for now.
Thank you for tuning in to the Leadership and Success Podcast with your host, Coach BZ. If today's episode added value to your leadership journey, be sure to subscribe, share, and join us again for more wisdom nuggets on how to lead better and achieve greater success. Remember, leadership is the most critical skill of our time. The world will always need leaders to inspire others, drive innovation, and execute meaningful strategy. So why not count yourself among the bold leaders shaping the 21st century? Until next time, stay inspired, stay committed, and keep leading with excellence.